YouTube, what it is, it's Lifting After Dark. I know I ain't put out a video in a minute, and you probably have no clue who this is, who Lifting After Dark is, what it's all about. But anyway, I'm just gonna go ahead and voice over uh, my kind of a compilation of my workouts from last week. Uh, this was my first push-pull session, and what you're seeing here are my top 3 sets of 235. I did a 3x5, and this was after an overwarm. I'll be doing a video on overwarms. That'll be my next video. So here is my third set of 235. Trying to keep my elbows down, closer to my body, not flaring them out. Trying to pause a little bit at the bottom, and making sure I'm locking out at the top. Breathing is so key anytime you're doing compound movements. So then we move into kind of the boring but big, just accessory work. So here's some incline dumbbell press. Anytime I'm pressing from a bench, I try to get a little bit of an arch in my back, mainly just to keep my shoulder blades and my scapula retracted. I'm not trying to get an advantage from that arch. I'm just trying to make sure that when I'm pressing from the pec. I'm not pushing my shoulders forward. So I just want to make sure that I'm retracting my scapula, pulling my shoulder blades together, just to try to make sure that I'm not throwing my shoulders out in front of me, that I'm actually pressing with the chest, because my goal is to get that good upper chest. So you'll notice that I'm just kind of taking these to failure or 10 reps, whichever comes first, 8 to 10 reps really. So I did 3 sets, roughly 8 to 10 reps or failure, whichever came first, because this is accessory stuff. So I'm just trying to get a good workout. Now, a lot of guys, a lot of people in general, take the assisted pull-up machine for granted. They really don't train the pull-up like they train other big lifts, quote unquote big lifts. You can't see my air quotes on the voiceover, but what I try to do is train my pull-up so that I can get better at it. Make sure that I'm incorporating different kind of overload and different enhancing techniques. So you'll see on my assisted pull-up, what I'm doing here is I'm trying to kind of do a almost a scapular pull-up first. So I'm retracting my scapula and start just really trying to get the beginning of the pull-up motion as strong as I can. And then of course I'm pausing at the top on the last rep and trying to come slowly down on that last eccentric. So you'll see it again. There we go. So now just some more chest centered dips here. So I'm just kind of leaning forward, just kind of pumping them out, just to get last little bit of blood flowing to the pecs. Just do as many as I can and then move on. Now for the pull portion of the workout, I'll start out with some good old lat pull downs. Try to pause at the bottom, squeeze, control the weight all the way up and down. I know you watch my boy Beast Mode Jones. Squeeze and control, squeeze and control. If ever preaching at the UCAT, squeeze and control. Then I go into some straight on pull downs, and I was watching a video by Athlete X, and he was talking about ways to get your elbow closer to your body. Feeling myself. Ways to get your elbow closer to your body on any kind of pulling motion to get the lower lat. So that's why I use the rope. Now moving on to my last couple of exercises again. My focus these days has been upper chest, to really try to get my upper chest popping, because I think that's what looks good in the shirt. So here's a couple of sets of my favorite upper chest movement. Also got this from Athlete X. Now when it comes to isolate the chest from the shoulders, it's not about turning off the front delt. It's about maximizing the upper chest. So you're not going to be able to really cut the anterior or front delt out of the equation. But what you can do is make sure you're getting as much upper chest involvement as you can. And then I go into just kind of general pec development, just kind of more of a decline fly here. Now, what's most important about this movement is that squeeze at the bottom, is getting those hands together. And then I like to finish off every workout with just some stretches. This is my favorite go-to post push-pull stretch routine here. So it's trying to, stretch out my shoulders a little bit, stretch out my pecs a little bit, get a little stretch in my mid-back. And it's just a good old child's pose from yoga, nothing special. And me always trying to improve hip mobility, squats or Olympic lifts that I like to do. I try to couple this little upper body stretch with a lower body stretch too. So you see I widen my knees, went to kind of a more open child's pose just to get a little bit of hip stretch going on at the same time as I stretch my shoulders. And then once I feel like I've loosened my shoulders up, loosened my mid-back up, thoracic spine, loosened up my pecs, then I go into a frog pose here. So widen it back out, widen my child's pose, push myself back, and then I kind of go into more of a lying frog pose. And then I'll go into more of an upright frog pose right here, get a little deeper, spread my heels or spread my feet away from each other, and get into more of a traditional frog pose. Just always trying to throw in a little bit of hip mobility work just to make sure that I keep the hips moving so I can squat better. So that is pretty much the conclusion of my first push-pull workout of the week. So after a good 10 breaths or so in the frog's pose, I try to go into butterfly stretch. And again, just trying to get more movement, more mobility in the hips. And I do this actively, so I try to pull my knees down, hold, then release, kind of contract and release. Just try to get those hips opened up. Then I go into a 90-90 stretch here, just trying to get some more overall movement and passive mobility in the hips. So that's hip external rotation. Then I go backwards and try to work on a little bit of internal rotation. Then switch sides, external rotation now on the right hip. And then I'll stretch backwards and get a little internal rotation stretch on the left hip. And that's it. That's what I do. I will see y'all next time where I go over my leg workout. Peace.